you are one of these people in the music industry without whom a lot of people wouldn't be able to do what they do. They take all the kudos and the credit at the front end, and you have all the issues and problems to deal with. But there's a lot of what can I say? It's very important that technical people like yourself enable the creativity of some very famous artists. I mean, I'm sure you're not going to be too self-effaced.
I've been accused of that in the past, but yeah, I mean, I've worked with some very big artists and continue to do it. And
give us a list of the artists that you've, or some of them.
Looked after New Order's technology for a long time. That was a big one for me because,
right,
you know, the one of my major bands when I was growing up. I've been friends with them for years and stuff like that. OMD looks after their technology. Ultravox looks after their technology. Currently look after Alt J and a band called With the Horizon.
I like them.
Yeah, fucking great band. Yeah. No, good hybrid between rock music and dance music. They fit sweet spot with that, I think.
Are they from Sheffield?
Yeah, from Sheffield, yeah.
Yeah.
Sheffield boys.
They're massive, aren't they? And it's like they get mentioned in a lot of the kind of credible kind of magazines and stuff, but they're not really, because they don't really do. Oh God, what is the singles charts anymore? I don't even understand any of that.
Right over there.
A load of old bollocks, as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, two old blokes talking, isn't it? What do you? And do you do your own music?
I do, yeah. I've been in a couple of successful bands, really. I used to have a band called Lion Rock.
Right.
90s. We had a couple of top 20s and stuff like that, and I was in a band called Olive.
Oh, no, Olive, yeah.
Did their set, produced their set album and stuff.
Did you?
Yeah.
They were like one of these enigmatic bands where everybody thought were going to be like the next big thing for a bit. Are they from Sheffield?
No. One of the guys was from Sheffield.
Right. Wow.
It was called.
So you are like the secret sauce in the middle of all this stuff, aren't you?
I suppose I am, yeah.
You had a bit of a box of tricks.
I am. I've got a lot of tricks on my sleeve. You're at the wrong angle there. I mean, everything else is sort of about me down there, but
good Lord,
I just love gear. I love gear. I love music. I always have done from being fucking tiny, from having my reel-to-reels in the house and stuff like that.
Yeah. All right, let's go back there. So I was reading something where it was saying that you fell in love with technology when you were quite young, didn't you?
Very much so, yeah.
So tell us about that.
Well, first thing I can sort of definitely was on my radar was I used to have an uncle, my Uncle Derek. He used to fix, he could fix anything, but his thing was televisions. When it was all, valve gear.
Yeah.
Like that. So I can vividly remember him babysitting. Basically, what he was doing was he'd have a bottle of cider open, the back off a telly, the cigarette that permanently had all the ash hanging down, kept like that. And he'd have screwdrivers and meters in the back. And it'd come in dead and it'd go out fixed. And he used to do quite a lot of it. That fascinated me.
Right.
I used to watch quite close as well. He knew that I was interested, so that was good. And my dad brought a reel-to-reel on one day. That was amazing. Being able to record your voice and listen to it back and then fuck about with the speed of it.
Did you do that? Did you mess about with editing and all that?
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't editing when I was 5, but I was probably recording things on reel-to-reel when I was 6 or 7.
Really?
Off the radio and things like that, just making tapes. My dad used to let me do it, trusted me with it. But I got into editing when I was probably about 11, when I got a better reel-to-reel.
Wow. And what reel-to-reel was it at the time?
It was a Sony TC377, I think it was called. And it was just, my dad just came on with this one day. Before that, we had a little Grundig thing.
Yeah. I was going to say Grundig was a popular one for them, weren't they?
It was a little valve Grundig that we used to have. We should have a load of tapes for that somewhere from when I was a kid, and I can't find them.
Oh.
But I know I've got them somewhere. I've got that much shit, you would not believe it. But I will find them and transfer them one day. Well, this Sony thing was great. It had sound on sound.
Well, that's how we did Being Boiled, of course. We didn't have a mixing desk or anything approaching that, and everything was mono. And that's how we learned how to make arrangements, really. And you know, I've discussed this in other podcasts before, but you know, the whole thing about making early decisions when you're creating stuff, and often you're forced into that by having a very limited amount of palette, or in our case, it wasn't the palette was the issue, because we obviously had the synths, but it was the degradation of the you know, you can only bounce 3 or 4 times before it sounded like shit, basically. And those limitations led to Being Boiled, and were it not for Being Boiled, you know, I mean, you can never say, but I mean, you know, my career might never have happened. So
No, I get that.
So what's your view on technical limitations?
Well, right. So I've been thinking about this quite a lot recently. I've got a room full of synths, but you can't use them all the time. So what I've decided to do, or what I've been doing in the last sort of year and a half, is I'll grab 5 things, wire them up, work with those, and I'll still plug it all into Logic, so I'll have all the Logic stuff at my disposal. But I don't see it as like limiting your palette, but
focusing.
Yeah, it focuses it. Yeah,
interesting.
I mean, there's that much noise. Effectively, there's that much noise in my studio. I've got to pick things to focus on. You know.
I did fancy at one point setting myself a challenge to go back to limitations, basically, and say, you know, you're allowed to use 1 drum machine, 1 bass synth, 1 synth for pads, and that's it, really. And then you could do, and you know, bits and bobs you could do on those synths. Yeah. And I just was really interested to know how that might have panned out. I've never got around to doing it, but I should do, really. Yeah. So I've only got the System 100 now, and the Korg 700. That's 700S, yeah. And that's it in terms of outboard. So I've got every fucking, you know, virtual synth going, obviously, but because Arturia sponsored me anyway. But the thing is, all right, here's another question, because this is going to be quite a geeky, appropriately geeky.
For me, geeks in your audience.
I mean, I get asked a lot of the time, can we do a more kind of technical episode? And this is an ideal opportunity, because I think we can talk about it, having grown up with it for 40 years. So what do you think the best period was for synths, do you think?
I mean, it's a great time now, really. I mean, I love all the things that I craved in the 70s, you know, VCS3.
Yeah.
That's probably the only one that I've not had out of all the synths I've ever wanted. I've never had a Putney.
Really?
Eric Behringer will put that right soon. I mean, I played on lots, but I've never actually owned one.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I love the sound of all the ones from the 70s, you know, like the first generation of the really good synths, yeah. The first poly synths. I've had, you know, like memory moogs and stuff like that. But now, I mean, I've got an OB6, Oberheim OB6. It's fucking amazing. It's probably my favourite modern synth, really.
Right.
Okay. Root as well, you know, it's an amazing sounding synth.
Okay, now I've just remembered that when I was interviewing Vince Clark, we came up with this idea of the 7 deadly synths, which I thought was quite nice. And I can't think of anybody much more appropriate than him or you to do it. So maybe I should play this game with you then. So you've got to give me your top 7 synths, I suppose.
Top 7 synths. Okay.
You can go in reverse order, or you probably need to write them down to do that. So just tell me as you think about them.
ARP 2600.
Right.
The grey one.
For what reason?
Just the sonic palette that it opened up when I actually got my hands on. That was like the first semi-modular thing. I got my first one in 1990. When they were cheap as fuck, you know what I mean? I think I paid 500 quid for my first one.
No.
With the duo keyboard, and it was amazing. And that just went, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Next thing would be an MS-20.
Yeah. I'm writing these down.
Similar kind of vibe to the.
I like the MS-20 very much.
Looking, if you get a real one, and it's a good one, it's an angry bastard. You know what I mean? That's a speaker breaking synth, really. It's fucking great. Got to treat you with respect. You know, love it. SH101.
Okay.
Probably my favourite thing for doing bass on.
Really?
Yeah, and probably if I'm doing something live, for instance, I'll have one of them in front of me all the time because I can just put a pair of headphones on and just go, right, play, and it'll just start playing in sync with all my gear straight away.
Wow.
Inspirational, really.
SH101, that's interesting.
Great, underrated.
We're nearly halfway through the 7 deadly synths.
Right, okay.
We've done 3. One sec. I just want to ask you a quick question in the middle of it. I was never a massive fan of American synths. I like the sound of them.
Yeah.
I just thought I don't know, I found the interfaces to be a little bit too musicianly. And they weren't extreme enough for me. It didn't evoke the future to me a lot of the time. It just sounded like, endless soft rock solos.
Not very science fiction, was it?
Not really, no. It was more aimed at a giant market of musicians. Do you think that's true?
I think that is probably true. I think that where it's probably come from is like, for instance, the Mini Moog. I think when the Mini Moog probably came out, people mostly saw that as an accompanying instrument to an organ or a piano or something like that. And it was a muso kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, when the big modulars started coming, I know Moog started with the modulars and stuff like that, but I think they were a lot more buffing based.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Keith Emerson using one on the stage, people like that. But, you know, it was a lot more friendly for someone that wasn't particularly musical to go and make some fucking epic noises, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it levels the playing field to a certain extent. If you're into that kind of thing, anybody can do it, as long as you've got some knowledge of like the flow about, you know, signal flow and things like that.
Yeah.
And modulation works and things.
Exactly. Speaking of Keith Emerson, were you a fan of Emerson, Lake and Palmer? I was.
I wasn't particularly. I'm not sure how old you are, but I know I'm probably...
I'm 65.
Right, okay, so I'm 8 years younger than you.
Right.
So when ELP were like going massive, I had a couple of uncles that were playing it all the time kind of thing, but it just wasn't on my radar. I was into pop music when I was a kid, really, you know, and I'd be listening to whatever my dad was playing and stuff. So I think the first thing I probably heard by Emerson, Lake and Palmer was Fanfare for the Common Man.
That was a bit straight. I like their more experimental kind of, the weird electronic stuff.
An untapped thing for me. Send me a message later of what you think I should go and listen to, because I'd love to.
Yeah, I will actually. What I'll probably do is I'll make a ELP playlist for you.
Yeah.
There you go. I mean, they weren't my favourite band. My favourite band at that time were Van der Graaf Generators, to be honest.
Okay.
I don't know if you know anything about them.
No, that.
Fuck off!
No, honestly. I mean, I'm having to sort of go back and fill gaps in.
Oh my God.
I didn't discover is the wrong word, but I didn't.
I'm going to put together a kind of electronic prog rock playlist.
Do it. I'd love to.
Good idea. I'd like to have it for my own, and I'll send it to you. Yeah. That because there are some unmissable things in there which you would absolutely adore, and a lot of them used. It's mainly kind of VCS3 and ARC 2600, really.
I can imagine. So the thing is, there's that much stuff going on then. When I was tiny, I just wouldn't have got to hear it. Stuff like Noi, you know, Can, stuff like that.
Amazing, and Faust.
But, I mean, I was like 30 when I discovered all that, and it was like, fuck me. Yeah. So that's where all the people that I was influenced by were influenced by.
Exactly.
It was like ground zero, you know.
Exactly. Are you familiar with White Noise, the band?
No, but I've heard you talk about them a few times. I want to go check them out. That's literally on a few of your podcasts. I've heard you mention it. It's like,
Yeah,
go listen to that.
fucking amazing. I'll put this on the same playlist, so it'll be like hundreds of fucking tracks long. But who
I
cares?
love to be educated.
What else? So what was okay? So you grew up. I read somewhere else that you were about 10 when you fell in love with the ARC 2600. Is that right?
No.
Or VCS3 was it?
VCS3, yeah.
Sorry, VCS3.
It's the weirdest thing. So.
Oh, we're halfway through the fucking 7 days.
Yes.
This is what happens with these podcasts. Sorry.
I like this though. It's like jazz.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's like.
Let's go over there.
It's like. It's like Michael Parkinson kind of jazz chat technique. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, number 4 then. So you've done the ARC 2600, MS20, SH101.
I'm going to stick my nose out and say an Oscar.
Oh, interesting.
It's
interesting. Why? Tell me why.
Well, it's a weird one. I used to buy a lot of my stuff from a place called Dougie's Music in Northwich.
Right.
Because they had a great synth shop. My dad was into synths, you know. And I went in one day and they had this synth there. And I'd seen one on, I can't remember who it was, but someone on the tube had one. But I just saw it and it was like, what? Oh, and he just sort of stayed. And then I went and had to play with it. I was like, oh, this is good. You know, it's like, it's a synth. Yeah, I know that word. That's yeah, really beefy. And then the guy who was sort of showing me was really into synths, and he went, does additive synthesis as well. I didn't know what that was.
Right.
At the time. He went, look what you can do. You know, you start adding partials and stuff like that. I was like, that sounds really new. Oh, and you can store it all. I'm having one of them.
Ah, wow.
It was great. It took over from, I was making music at the time. My main synth before that was a cat.
Ah!
It just stopped working one day. Nobody could fix it. So I was in the market for something else. I could have got an order or something like that, but I got this Oscar. And I made some of the best things I've ever done on it. You know, just sonically very, very good.
I've got a fun fact for you. Vince Clarke's son is named after the Oscar synth.
Really?
Yeah.
Good man.
He should have another son called Roland, really. But
yeah. He needs to expand his flock, doesn't he, really?
Although called Clarke would be quite good, I think.
Go.
Right, so that's 4. You've got 3 to go.
Oberheim SEM.
Oberheim SEM.
Yeah, which are you familiar with them? You used to get 8 of them, little modules made up the 8 voice.
Yeah, that rings a bell. I've never used them.
So good.
Is it?
Yeah, really, really good. I think it's the filter on it that makes it. He's got great bandpass filters. So
the filters always make it. There's only really down to the quality of the oscillator and the quality of the filter. That's it, really. Everything else is just bells and whistles.
I used to do most of the stuff that I do on that particular synth, though. I used to use it for a particular job. So I'd have like little sequences or arpeggios going with, you know, a lot of slow LFO modulation, sweeping the filter.
Yeah.
And it just used to sound epic in the background with, you know, even quite quiet. It just used to cut through anything. And I just used to use it for doing that a lot.
Right. That's the same as Vince.
Well, with dick out stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say Vince, as you know, has a huge collection of synthesizers, and he used to basically conduct them like an orchestra.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, he had various synths that were particularly good for a particular purpose, and of course, it's all CV and gate connected, so it was all in perfect time, and fucking gorgeous. And so, you know, he could knock up an arrangement for a simple idea that he'd play on a guitar in like, you know, 20 or 30 minutes with with like 10 different synths.
Of course.
But he's got his craft refined to such a point now where all the kind of annoying stuff where things can go wrong and you know, you don't really you don't want to get your flow interrupted, do you? You want to go, right, that does that, here we go, boom, we'll route that to here, that's it, boom. Within 15 minutes you got something happening. Then you can spend your time fine-tuning it and stuff. But it's like a sculptor whacking a piece of clay down there and quickly getting into it, I think.
I think that's one thing I always noticed about Vince when he makes music is I think he creates arrangements, synthetic arrangements in a traditional
it does, yeah,
mental way kind of thing. So like you say, you'll use that for that job, that for that job, that for that job. I know exactly where you're going to come in. I know where you're going to come in because you're going to start when that finishes. And yeah, it's.
I mean, when I was
way doing, I think.
Yeah, when I was working with him, he had hardware. He was using hardware sequencers, Roland MC4s, and because the timing is so incredible. I mean, it's so absolutely bang on. And I've told this story before, but it's worth repeating. I think we did he's got an oscilloscope, a dual trace oscilloscope in his studio, and I said, I'd be really interested to compare the timing on like Logic with like an MC4, whatever, MC8, hardware sequencer anyway. And it was unbelievably different. I mean, a good randomly kind of 10 to 12 milliseconds out. So, it made me think, I could never quite figure out why Kraftwerk's albums always sounded so funky.
Yeah.
It's because the timing is so. We don't analyze it in those terms. Well, I might do because I'm a bit of a geek, but for the general public, they just want to hear it. Syncopation depends on that solid thing in the middle, and if you've got a kick drum that's very, very slightly moving around, it's not quite as funky. It just isn't. It doesn't sound human.
I'd say it's funny you should say that because I mean I know when I was like 15 in 1980, so just as the electronic thing was kicking off, I was there. I was primed for it.
Yeah.
And there were certain records that sounded so good, so tight, and then you get other records where I was going to be unkind to Japan. Then I love Japan, but it's like they for instance had a real drummer playing with sequencers.
Yes.
And if the bass drum's off, it
messes it up. Yeah.
But
it feels uncomfortable.
Yeah. Well, the guy, for instance, that played on all the Sparks, number one in Heaven album, I think he's called Keith Forsey.
Right. Yeah. Great.
He was nailing it.
Yep.
And that is funky. When you can get that sweet spot of a really tight drummer and technology. Okay.
Well, as the 80s proceeded into the 90s, the drummers that were getting the work in recorded dance music were the ones who could play super accurately to a click. And it sounds counterintuitive, but I always thought, I always tried to employ real drummers in my, third-party productions, because once you got drummers who really understood the importance of simplicity, I used to regularly just, they'd turn up with all their gear and everything. I'd just chuck loads of it away. So keep it in storage, mate. We just want a kick drum, a snare, a hi-hat, a couple of cymbals, and we'll overdub the toms if we need to, and that's it. I'm not bothered. I don't need fucking, Carl Palmer, and fucking 48-inch gongs. I'm not interested.
Yeah.
The other funny story about that was when we were doing one of the tracks on Luxury Gap, we had Simon Phillips turned up. Simon Phillips, the drummer. It was prodigious, and he turned up with like 8 toms, and all this stuff. I'm going, no. He said, look, just let me show you something, and if you don't like it, I'll take him down. So he played this pattern, which was like as good as something that you could program really on a Lindrum. I know it sounds arse about tit, but
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? Just like mad.
Kistin. kind of thing.
I'm really funky and everything. And I'm going, okay, we'll use that. And we ended up using it, and it sounded fucking great. But he's a rarity. You know, even he's from like the world of, fucking Weather Report, Fusion, kind of super cerebral kind of stuff. I love all that stuff, but I was really massively thrilled by the first Lindrum, which I still think is the best ever drum machine, personally. What do you think?
That's an amazing drum machine. It's probably not my favourite drum machine,
Right?
But it's been the drum machine on some of my favourite records, definitely. I couldn't afford a Lindrum at the time. The thing I had at the time did drum tracks.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Drum tracks, which was similar kind of thing, similar sounds. I think you could even put the same EPROMs in and stuff like that. Well, yeah, Lindrum is definitely the roots of some of my favourite records, you know.
Yeah, and now I look back on it and I think, well, it sounds like us, because we were one of the first people to use it who have been successful in the charts, but I associate it with Prince particularly. And he did some amazing stuff with it. And he used to fuck around with, extreme tuning.
Exactly. That's what I used to do on the drum tracks, like tune the clap right the way down.
Yeah.
Big cymbals of like sounding like gongs and things like that.
Yeah, I love all that stuff. And there's not enough playfulness in pop music now, I think, in terms of the arrangements. It's all very, I don't know, what do you think?
I agree. I think I don't listen to that much stuff off the radio anymore, because it seems to get to a stage about probably less than 10 years ago, but more than 5 years ago, where all I was hearing was probably, genuinely as well, probably 4 different chord progressions on every single song.
I know.
It's like, I don't know the technical term for what it is, but what it is fucking boring, you know what I mean? It just makes me turn it off straight away. It's like, I've heard that exact same set of chords. I could lay your instrumental over that vocal and it just go like that because it's the same, you know.
I think it's a corollary, good word, of these things like songwriting camps. I mean, I teach, songwriting and stuff, and half the time, half the tutors are into all this stuff, and keep everything kind of interlockable. So, like, I don't know what the actual chords are, but there's that famous thing on YouTube where this guy shows, I think it's 20 number 1 hit records with the same 4 chords.
All right. Well, yeah, exactly that.
In the chorus, right? And you just once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. That's the problem.
It's like somebody just like pull curtains back, gone, this is the magic. You should be everything, and it's
exactly. And then the magic's gone. This is how. Yeah, we're going to show you how it's done. Exactly. Let's go back to the earliest days of when you started getting your gear together. Then, so what was your when you first started? What did you have?
What I'd say was like my first, where I felt like I'm making music now, was I had the luxury of 2 reel-to-reels. Right. So I could bounce stereo.
Roll away.
And my first sort of bit of programming gear was I had a TR-606.
Nice.
Thing, and a TB303.
Nice.
When they all come out,
like us too, yeah.
And but I used to plug the 303 into whatever I could borrow, so I just used the sequencer in it. And I had a Gen SX 1000.
What's that?
It's quite a shit synth. It was a catalog synth. It was like, it was the synth that had been whatever catalog. So the company was called Gen. I think it was like an Italian company.
Right.
And the synth was called an SX 1000. In retrospect, it was actually quite good, but no sockets to interface it with anything. All I had on it was back output.
No CV and gate, no? Nothing. MIDI? Didn't have MIDI then, did it?
Oh, it was like, bottom dollar. I had 2 oscillators though.
Yeah.
And you've got, detune and stuff like that. So that probably taught me a lot about actually making sounds, but I realized the limitations of it straight away, because I realized, within, probably took me 2 minutes to realize, hold on, how do I plug that? Oh, you can't do that. That's probably the only two things I've got that you can't plug into each other.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, we were with the Human League, really working hard at trying to synchronize things. You know, we could do a certain amount, and we were working with pilot tones, you know, and special sync boxes, and you know, it was a pain in the
casing where we.
Oh my God, it was a nightmare. Anyway, we got it done, but where it all started to fall down a bit was, we did things like when we did a John Peel session. And you know, you go in there, and it's the BBC, and you go, right, okay, play us 3 of the tunes that you are going to do, and I'm going, and how long have we got? 3 hours, right? So I'm going. It took us about a week to do these tunes because of the sync issues and all this stuff. So we had no option but to take backing tracks down with us, and overlay some live stuff, because that's all the time, and the vocals, of course. And around about the time, you know, obviously we had the Sony 2-track on stage with us, because we didn't want to try to deceive anyone. It just wasn't technically possible at the time. I thought it was quite witty anyway. And, we nearly got attacked in Germany for it, because they thought, this is not rock and roll, and they started chucking stuff at us. And
it made me think of some really funny anthem to me in one of the bands that I had with a reel to reel. So we're playing in a club in Manchester called Legends, quite a big club at the time. And it's my mate's band, my best mate Louis, and Brian Cox, Professor Brian Cox, was playing keyboards, and it was his first band as well.
Another podcast alumni.
You go, you see. Yeah. So anyway, this song's playing back, and I'm listening to it. I'm mixing all on stage as well. It's like, that sounds a bit funny. And I turn around, and the take-up spool had fallen off, rolling across the stage. And obviously the tape was not quite. I was like, oh, fuck, what do I do now? That's like, run away from the gear and then start trying to near the end of the song.
So I started roll back up a toilet paper that's
it was ludicrous. Like, half the people are going, what's going on? Half the people are realizing what's going on and just fucking laughing. And, you know, the other people in the band are just like, you know, flapping kind of thing. Got it together though.
Oh, that sounds
like a professional.
No, God, no, you started me off now. You must have some other funny stories. You've done that much stuff. There's so much that can go wrong with your stuff. I mean, there must be a couple of other stories you've got.
It's the one thing that really stands out, which was a massive fail for me in my professional capacity. But it was just, that's what happened. So when I worked for New Order, they were doing a show in Hyde Park. Big show, headline show kind of thing. And it'd been stormy in the afternoon, and somebody thought they'd done us a favour. They covered all the gear up, all the back line, not realising that what that actually does, if you don't leave vent holes, is it makes it all sweaty.
Yeah.
So anyway, I used to run AutoCue for Bernard. 3 Mac laptops. Starts the gig, literally 30 seconds into the first song, the first AutoCue just freezes on the screen. I'm like, changes my cable. Starts the second one, a minute in, that one stops.
Shit.
And he decides to just stop singing.
Oh, fuck.
And they're carrying on playing. So, to cut a long story short, he did virtually all the gig, just either going la, 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 or not singing.
Could he not remember any of the words?
Well, I'm sure he could if he tried. I could remember them all. You know what I mean? I think it was weird. Anyway, I spent the entire gig with screwdrivers out, taking the 2 laptops apart, trying to dry them out. You could see moisture inside. Couldn't do anything. And we were playing Glastonbury the next day.
Shit.
So I get called into the dressing room after the gig. Bernard is obviously really concerned. Not angry, just like freaked out to fuck. So I think he realised what a crutch it was for him.
Yeah.
I think he lost his mind kind of thing. So he's in front of me and he went, so what happened? Now, I didn't know, David Williams.
Oh, yeah.
He's in the dressing room as well. sat on the chair behind Bernard and starts going like this, pulling faces. So I'm trying to tell Bernard, and he's like, he can obviously see me trying to keep a smile.
No.
I'm taking the piss out of him. He went, mate, you need to take this a bit more seriously. And he's in behind you. And he turned around. He's obviously like, that was quite funny. I think
this was pre or post Hooky?
It was when Hooky was still there, 2005.
Right. I'm not, well, I'd like to ask you because I like a bit of contentiousness, but what's your view on the whole New Order thing?
But the split and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I was around when all that was going on.
Because I've read Hooky's, account, and I just wondered what your take on it was. You can be discreet as you want.
I'll keep it very, very brief. He left the band in 2007. He left the band. I know he said they split up, but we didn't. He left the band. That's what he said. I'm leaving.
Right.
That was it. And then everything else that went around it seems to be trying to backpedal away from that and go, well, no, we split up.
Oh, I see.
And they didn't. They really didn't. He just walks away from it.
Fair enough. Oh, I could see how that would happen. Yeah.
And I was working with Hooky. He was doing a solo album at the time. This thing called Free Bass. So I was doing that, and I was still working with the New Order people. And it got a bit weird after a bit. So I ended up stopping working with Hooky because he made it a little bit difficult for me.
Right.
Love him a bit, but it was a bit weird time.
I mean, I love Hooky. I think he's, he's a trooper.
Oh, he is. I mean, I've known him since I was 15.
Really?
Yeah.
He's quite a character, and
I love him.
We did. He took part in our BEF shows, and it was fun. We did an electronic version of "Love Will Tear Us Apart,"
right?
And with him on bass, of course, as well. And at the end, he's just tearing his fucking clothes off, going, "Come on, down and all that."
Yeah, I've seen you do that a lot.
But I mean, it's quite something when we're only doing one track.
Yeah. Whoa.
No, but you got to love him. You got to love him. He's quite a performer. I've never met Bernard. What's he like?
I really like Bernard as well. They're a top bunch, really. All of them, very good characters. The other thing I'd say about Bernard, I mean, I've worked with him in the studio and stuff like that, and he's one of these guys that he'll come up with an idea, a great idea, and then he'll want to explore all the possibilities that may be available to him based on that idea. And that might take a week.
Oh, that's an infinite.
And then you come back round to the first thing. Right. I prefer that one.
I hate is too strong a word. I have an aversion to kind of methodology. I mean, for instance, I know because Bob Last was managing us and the Human League at the same time as they were making Dare and the second album, and he was telling us that he decided to stop managing the Human League when they spent a week looking for kick drums, and they're going, and in fact, the producer Martin Russian, he just lost his mind. It was driving him insane. Yeah, I mean, but did you work with Martin Russian?
No, but that record, the Dare album.
It's magnificent.
Huge fan of the first two albums, but there was such a departure and a new use of it all, kind of thing. And the sound that he got on it was fucking amazing.
This is something we should discuss. So, what we didn't realize at the time with the early Human League is there were hardly any engineers stroke producers out there who knew how to produce and record electronic music. They didn't. And we had Colin Thurston, God rest his soul, he's not with us anymore, but produced Reproduction. And it was way, way, way too polished. Our live our live stuff was very kind of punk, electro punk, really, at the time. And he just polished it all until it shined, but that wasn't what should have happened. We didn't know any better at the time. So then the second album was us recording, on our own gear and basically knocking it into shape in the big studios, which was much better. But did you have any experience, when you first started? So your bands, what year did that start?
Bands probably about 1982.
Right.
So I'd learned a lot. So 17 then, and then
Yeah.
I knew how to program things.
Right. So, but who? I mean, did you have any issues in the studio with whoever you were recording with, or did you do it yourself?
Oh, I did it myself. So I went straight from. I sort of, while I was doing the band thing, I was. I got a little job working at a place called Audio Services just outside Manchester. It was one of the only pro audio places in the north. And I managed to get me toe in there, and they had a demo room. And I went in, I nearly fucking fell over. I had like a TR fucking 8-track in there, I had a TR-808 in there, I had a Jupiter 8 in there. And it was one of those places, it was that far off the beaten track. Nobody went there.
Wow.
No mail order. So I'd turn up on a Saturday, like 10 in the morning. They'd be like, can you have a bit of a tidy up over there? It's like, yeah. And then they wouldn't have anything else for me to do. And they'd be like, if you need me, I'll be in the demo room. So like, I'm in the demo room, learning how to fucking use a mixing desk and how to use a tape machine, a proper tape machine.
Yeah.
And unconsciously sort of honing what I do, basically. It was weren't like I set out to do it. It was just like, oh, fucking hell, when am I going to get to play one of these again?
Yeah.
Used to the time now.
So,
yeah, while I was sort of doing the band thing, by the time we'd got around to actually going in the studio, I think we had an engineer in there, but I knew how to work the gear in the studio. I was comfortable just going, do you mind if I, yeah, no, that kind of thing. So all very polite,
Yeah.
It's like, I know my place, but can I just do that on the mixer? Yeah. Okay. Brilliant. Yeah. So,
And I mean, people with your skill set at that time, there weren't that many of them. I don't think, because it was a rapidly evolving scene in terms of, massive number of new synths coming out, and I mean, essentially, I often think back in those days, because I used to do more or less what you do. And me and Ian Marsh used to kind of, we're busking, right? We don't really know what we're doing.
Yeah.
And actually, some of the accidents are the interesting.
it's the magic, isn't it?
That's the
hard thing to get now, because you know how to use it.
It's more rationalized now, exactly, and especially in the in a digital audio workstation. Well, here's another thing, right? So when you're doing a mix, and particularly when it's like in a high pressure environment, like a really expensive studio in London or whatever, you're doing a mix and you're exhausted. And you're going, oh fucking hell! Look, we've run out of time. We're gonna need another day. When have you got free? Oh, we can do it in a week. And you have to, and the poor old engineer has to note down every single setting, right?
Yeah.
Which is incredible. And then you put it back up and it sounds nothing like it, does it? You go. But sometimes there were some really good accidents.
Yeah.
Right? And that degree of accidental stuff has really been lost now, because I mean, I'm working on like about 15 different tracks at the moment on Logic, and it's like straight back up in it, everything, unless you're using outboard gear and stuff. So that's a major, but it sounds very what can I say? It sounds very banal, but it's actually a massive difference to how things.
Totally. I mean,
can I just I've just got to pause you a second there. My wife's calling me. 1 sec.
No problem.
1 sec. I like to incorporate these things into, it's like real life. Yeah. I'm in the middle of a Zoom call, darling. Anything important? All right. I'm fine. All right, darling. Bye. No, I'm in the studio. Why? Hello? Hello? Strange. Sorry about that.
It's all right. No
We can always edit it out.
Of course. DJ Glue.
It was funny. It was the first one of these I ever did. Was with Richard Hawley in his working men's club, and he had fucking dogs coming in and out. The engineers fixing the heating. It was like there were people walking in there, and they're like, oh fucking hell. And after that, I decided to kick everything in. Anyway, okay.
What you saying there about recall and things like that? I don't think, genuinely, I think people making music now would freak out at the thought of having to deal with all that kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's the responsibility of an engineer at the end of a session.
Massive.
Note down.
Massive.
Everything. And
that's before, even before computerized desks, which would recall desk settings.
Yeah.
I mean, I keep trying to explain it to the people I'm teaching, but it's like you'd have like a 72 channel Neve desk in Air Studios.
Yeah.
Each channel had, I don't know, 20 knobs on it.
Yeah.
Each one of those knobs would have to be noted down on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
You know, no fucking iPhones, nothing like that.
You know what I mean? If you'd had a fucking iPhone at the time, you could have just filmed.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I mean, I know Connie Plank. Do you know what Connie Plank used to do?
No.
So this blew my mind. I saw it on a documentary last year. He used to have a Polaroid camera above his desk.
Nice.
Genius. Literally.
Well, if it was high enough res, I suppose that's the thing.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's the thing.
I think that was his vibe, was Polaroid camera.
I like that. That's really cool.
Very analog as well, isn't it?
And then it moved on to, this is so geeky, this podcast. I love it. Then it moved on to, I used to work at Red Bus Studios in just off Edgware Road, and they had an MCI desk.
Right.
And it was in the early days of automation.
Yeah.
So it was VCA automation, but it wasn't flying faders. It was VCA. Yeah, it was really boring. But anyway, but they recorded all that information on two tracks at the end of the 24 track, right? So you had two less tracks to play with.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then you had to have two tracks because you'd record the automation, the VCA automation information digitally on one track, on one analog track, and then you keep that one and you record on track 23 or wherever it is, and then you'd have to, and so you'd always have one backup track in case everything fucked up. It sounds really dodgy, doesn't it? And it was actually quite
prone to failure straight away.
Prone to failure. Anyway, okay? Here's a good question. I've got a good response when you tell me yours. What's the biggest? I mean, you've already told me one, but what's the most extreme technical breakdown that you've had?
That's another New Order one. Well, a couple, but the New Order one's a belter. So they were playing at a place called the Hammerstein Ballroom in.
Oh, I bet that's an amazing place, isn't it?
Yeah, fucking stunning.
Run by the Moonies now, you know.
Is it? Wow. Yeah. Didn't know that. So we're just about to load in, and there's this almighty crash. Like, what the fuck was that? That sounded expensive. What it was my playback rack falling off the back of a truck.
Oh no!
So we fell about 6 feet onto the floor.
Oh shit!
Do you know what a DR16 is?
Yes.
I think I had this record.
Yeah.
So he used two of them for their playback. Both like smashed the fuck like this. So I managed to make. I mean, I'm very technically minded now. I'm not scared of taking things apart. So I managed to make one set of stuff work out of the main and the backup. And I just have this vivid memory of the runner driving around New York asking for SCSI drives.
Oh God, remember them?
And they'd gone out the window, you know what I mean?
Fucking hell!
Get this foot. Wow, how do you spell scuzzy? Full letters, and they managed to find one, and I managed to restore it all off a DAT and all that kind of stuff, which was
That's amazing.
Don't even talk about DATs, but yeah, we managed to do a show.
That is amazing. Have you ever been to the National Sound Archive in the British Library?
No.
Oh my God! I'll have to see if I can get you in there.
Oh,
It's mind-bending. And one of the things they have to do, because they're kind of over many years trying to digitize everything they've got, but it's still in the original format, vast majority of it. So they've got everything from wax cylinders.
Oh wow!
Every format that ever existed, they've got, and so therefore they have to have every player of every format. So they open up these cupboards. I mean, it's impressive enough seeing all the, hundreds of thousands of vinyl and, and rare recordings and all this stuff. But then they open up these cupboards and it's like everything. It was like, it was like somebody coming into your brain and opening your brain of all the memories you've had of every piece of technology you've ever seen, plus all the stuff before that as well. Oh my God. Literally, if anybody, important were to donate, or significant, were to donate, recordings in a certain format, they have to have something to play it back on. So everything, from really trivial stuff like mini discs, right up to, rare 32-track recorders, digital recorders, everything you could. And of course, they said, this is our pride and joy. They said they got this device that somebody had built, which was basically a 78 RPM manual player that could digitize it onto. So they built a kind of hybrid, contemporary, like wind up fucking.
All right, I see what you mean.
Yeah, fucking mad. Absolutely mad. Absolutely mad. Anyway, right, we're on to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 more to go in the 7 deadly synths.
Oh, quick look round.
Yeah.
I said MS-20, didn't I?
You've got ARP 2600, MS-20, SH-101, Oscar, Oberheim SEM.
Right, I'm going to move on to a couple of modern synths. I'm going to say me OB6.
Oh, okay.
I love it. It's such a sweet, beautiful sounding synth.
Is it?
If you want just like gorgeous pads like them, it's just dead nice, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm going to quickly, off the back of that, I'm going to say one of my favourite synths, I think I might mention it to you in an email, is an Analog Solutions Vostok.
Oh yeah, I've got one of their. They kindly gave me one of theirs. I was hoping they were going to give me one of their giant things that they do.
Oh yeah, they're what do you call it? EMS thing. What's it called?
I mean, I've got
like a fistful. I remember the thing. Colossus, is it called?
They kindly gave me this, which is nice.
All right, okay. I heard you talk about that.
It's really good. For kind of like continued. It's got a built-in sequencers, and it's kind of like it's called a sequencer. So it's like it's all CV and gate, so it's great. I can knit it together with I can interface it with the System 100.
Oh,
it's a beauty. A thing of great beauty, in it, let's face it. But one more thing I need to show you. Hold on. Actually, you finish off doing what you're doing, and then we'll carry on.
Well, all I was going to say was I've got one of these Vostok Deluxes there.
Right.
And I'll tell you exactly why I like it. I don't know if it's a fluke or it's been deliberately designed, but it's got a gain stage. I think it's on the input and output of every module. So it gets...
That's really quite important, I think, isn't it?
It sounds angry from the oscillators onwards. You know what I mean? It makes some brutal sounds.
Right.
I've never heard any other synth that sounds exactly like that.
So this is an interesting thing we need to discuss as well. When we were making Travelogue in '79, we got our first proper outboard mixing desk, and it was a Soundcraft actually. It's mainly designed for live work, but it actually sounded really good and was good value. And we got right into experimenting with overloading the input stage.
Yeah.
So like things like the Black Hit of Space on Travelogue, with that amazing kind of heavy metal machine music, you know. Was all that. It was actually just overloading the input stage on that. And we at that point we just thought, well, everything's fucking pedals, right?
Yeah.
And we did have a few pedals. We experimented with like phaser pedals, but you never, they're designed for guitars and that kind of middly thing. We wanted things that would take the full vertical range of the frequencies and just, you know,
smash all of it.
Smash it all. And so we ended up with that. That sounds pretty similar to the kind of thing that you can do. What's it, a Vostok, you say?
Vostok Deluxe, it's called.
Vostok Deluxe.
Vostok Deluxe. It's that.
Oh, I say, that's a monster, isn't it?
Tasty bass.
And so you use that for sequencers, do you, or?
Yeah, sequences on there, but I mean, it's a very sort of, it's like another effectsy kind of synth. Yeah. It's definitely sci-fi, but it's brutal sound.
Right. So you've got all the kit that you could possibly. Well, no, there's never an end to it, is there? But but you've got it pretty much covered. The kind of kit that you would need to make the most amazing full-scale kind of electronic instrumental album. Is that what you're doing currently, or?
No, that's not at all. I'm doing, but I mean, I'm still making music, so I've got a few things that I do. So my best mate Louis will do this thing called Oscillator Hell, which is I take a selection of synths to a pub, with no pre-programmed sequences or anything like that. And then we play for 6 hours and make it all up.
Oh, fucking hell.
And it sounds fucking mental, and it is, but Louis is a fucking genius for a start, so he'll just make up words on the spur of, whatever's going on, he'll find something to fit it. And he's a player as well, kind of thing. I've never seen anybody do that. And we have so much fucking fun. People pay us to do it. It's amazing, you know what I mean?
Wow. So is it like a kind of trance type thing, or does it break down into song type stuff? Oh, it goes all over.
It goes all over the place. But I used to record everything. So I've got like this pre-Sonus mixing desk.
Right.
A memory card in it.
Yeah.
And then record it all separate. We'll record the entire show, everything separate. Can fuck about it later. Great. So I've never actually done that, but we'd do this thing where we'd get into a groove.
Yeah.
Fucking about for 2 minutes, then all of a sudden he'd start singing something. It's like, that's really good.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden it's obviously going around and he's thinking of a chorus, and then he'll come up with something else. And some of it is so wacky you won't fucking believe it, but it's always very melodic.
Right.
It's always quite listenable. And we could be doing something ambient for like 40 minutes and everybody's just like, that sounds great. And then all of a sudden,
is that why they go to the bar? Just leave it running.
To the toilet. I mean, this place where we used to do it, we pretty much stayed every time we did it in this tiny bar in Buxton.
It's a great idea.
You can only get like fucking 50 people in there. So on the latter ones that we were doing, the police had come in occasionally because there's too many people on the pavement outside.
Right.
Because we couldn't all get in.
Yeah.
It was great. It was a bit of an ego boost. It's like, oh, all right, okay. They come and shut us down up there because we got too many people.
I think it's great. It's a great idea. I did an improvised album with some of the guys from the Radiophonic Workshop.
Right. Oh.
I've never done an improvised album, but I thought as a kind of something, to tick off your bucket list.
Yeah.
I thought I'd have a go at it because, like a lot of the bands that I liked, especially the German ones in the 70s, were semi-improvisation.
Absolutely.
I'm not a player. I mean, I know my stuff in terms of sound, and I know how to operate synths, but I'm really not a technically gifted keyboard player. So I was a bit reticent. I thought, I don't know. These guys know their stuff, and actually, so we just brought in a whole bunch of synths. I didn't bring any synths in. They said we'll sort it out, and they brought in like a big a big Roland System 100N.
All right, nice.
Which Mark Ayres was playing, and then there was the engineer who's like Chemical Brothers engineer. I can't remember his name now.
Steve Duck.
Yeah, Steve Dunk. That's it. He brought in a Teenage Engineer in OP1 that I love. I use it more than any of my other synths, to be honest. I'd never seen it before, and I thought, this is fucking great, right? And then there was some other stuff, and there was like, and all that was left at the end was like, well, it's Jupiter 8. I'll play Jupiter 8, right? So we're all playing. There was somebody else there. I can't remember. I think it was he was one of the older guys from the guitarist from the Radiophonic Workshop. I forgot his name. I feel embarrassed now. Anyway, he's fantastic. So he was all about bespoke pedals and guitar treatment. So a bit like kind of Frippertronics kind of thing.
Yeah, love that.
I love that. So we set up, and the first half hour we thought, what a load of wank this is. We weren't talking to each other. It was all just on headphones.
Yeah.
And going, this just is embarrassing. I mean, it's like everybody's not quite sure who's queuing off anyone else. And I'm going, and I realized looking back on it now, that first half hour was learning how to be a jazzer, really.
Yeah.
And to learning to listen rather than to play. Listen first, then play.
Yeah.
So after a bit, it started there were little bits pulling into focus, and actually it was really quite interesting. And somebody would do a sequence, somebody else would do a sequence, and then they weren't in sync, obviously, because it wasn't all synchronized, and then we'd leave a bit of a space for somebody to do a piano bit, and then it's like the OP1 would come in with some weird loop, and anyway, so we did like 3 hours continuous, and at the end we were like in a trance. We had nobody had spoken to each other for 3 hours. And we said to each other, literally got no idea whether any of that was I think some of it was interesting, but what will it sound like in the control room? So we all trooped back to the control room, and fortunately the engineer who'd been recording it had been taking notes of particular times when things were pulling into focus, and played back some relevant bits, and we're going, fucking hell. This is the real meaning of creativity and on-the-fly improvisation.
Yeah.
So anyway, he ended up getting mixed, and the bits got edited together, and it came out as an album. And it literally took 3 hours. It's weird, isn't it? I quite like that methodology.
I mean, you nailed it there when you were talking. I mean, you don't know if any of it's any good until either somebody tells you it was good, or you go back and listen to it yourself, because you're that focused on actually doing it. When you're doing it, quality control is the last thing on your fucking mind.
That's it. That's exactly it.
It's a mixture of terror and...
Well, actually...
it's like, what am I going to do?
This is really important. I think the point is to actually take away that filter of quality control.
Yeah.
I think it's the exact opposite of what you normally want to do when you're doing a gig, because you've rehearsed it, you know what you want to do. Yeah, if you don't do it more or less the same, things can fall apart very quickly. Things fall together very quickly.
Yeah.
Once you got into the groove of doing this, and it wasn't dance stuff, it wasn't like Forward to the Floor, it was pretty out there stuff. Maybe I'll send you that as well. It was called Burials in Several Earths. Nice title.
Yeah.
Earths, and of course no fucker buys it, but who cares? You're doing it for the pleasure of making it available, I suppose.
I think that's one thing that comes definitely with age. I mean, great. I know you had, your success early on with the Human League and 17 stuff like that. I never had like any major success, but I think when you're younger, you're always trying to chase that. You're trying to optimize what you're doing and maybe be successful at it. And it's a bit of an epiphany when, you realize nobody's going to buy your stuff. And then you just start making it for the purest of reasons. And that is to make music and enjoy yourself and feel good about doing it. Like anything I do now, I'm the quality control for it first and foremost. So if I like it,
that's all that matters.
I think it's the purest way of doing it, really.
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. You're an artist,
It's great when someone else goes, "That's fucking great, that," and it's like, "Is it? Great, okay."
Yeah, fantastic. So where can we hear this shit then?
I'll send you some stuff. I mean, I've got the last sort of band stuff I did was a band called Major Deranges, which I'm still doing. We're doing another album. So we put an album out. We started to put it out last year. We're just sort of filtering tracks out. So the only place you can hear it at the moment is on Spotify.
Right. Well, just send me the links. Yeah.
No, I'll do that. I'll definitely do that.
And here's another thing. When I was talking to John McClure from the Reverend and the Makers, who's a good old friend of mine, I didn't realize how keen he was on electronic music. Actually, he's very interested in it, and actually some of their albums reflect that. And we got talking and freeforming, and I've become really fascinated recently with electronic music development around the world when we had no knowledge of it. So we knew what was happening in the UK to a certain extent, in Europe in the 80s, 70s and 80s and onwards, and America, of course. But the rest of the world was like, they don't matter. I mean, or we didn't know anything about them. And now what's emerged, because of the proliferation of everything being on Spotify or whatever, there's all these amazing artists that were in like homemade studios, doing stuff in Africa, doing stuff in Southeast Asia, in the depths of Russia.
Wow.
And what I jokingly said to John, I said, look, we need to get some big money out of the fucking BBC and get one of them, like, we'll go around the world talking about trying to find the people who did this.
Right, that's a great thing.
But the subtext is we want to big up stuff that wasn't known at the time, and the idea of different musical cultures interfacing with what was possible with electronics. I think it would be fascinating.
Yeah.
So when we do it, I'll have to get in contact with you, and you could be like the technical dude. We'll do it like it'd be like that fucking that car program, where they have 3 blokes going, "Oh fucking hell, the engine's bust," and
I know what we can do.
It'd be a right laugh though. You'd end up in Irkutsk, and people like William Onyerbor and people like that who just had a studio a bit like yours, except completely chaotic. I mean, nothing in straight lines at all, and stuff like that. Anyway, just want to show you something. 1 sec, and then. Have you seen this?
Is that teenage engineering thing?
Yeah.
I've seen a virtual one. How is it? Is it good?
Oh, it's fucking great. You have to build it yourself.
Yeah. Oh, good. I'm into that.
There you go. I mean, it's all modules and everything, but it's like an IKEA kit. You put it together. It comes flat pack, and I love it. And it's all CB and gate, so I can connect it with my System 100. It works. I can use the keyboard on that. It's amazing. So I just wanted to big it up. It's called the Pocket Operator Modular 400, and basically it's three oscillators: square, sawtooth, and sine wave, and a bunch of VCAs, envelopes, filters, mixer,
a little step time sequencer,
and a step time sequencer on the bottom.
Nice.
And noise generator, of course,
and a
random generator, which is nice, always useful.
Yeah.
And you can get some amazing things that sounds out of it. Anyway, just thought I'd mention it. It runs on batteries.
I want you to do an entire track on just that synth.
I'm going to. We'll do it as one of the play-out tracks. Maybe do it for this episode.
Yeah.
That'd be good. Right. You know the drill. I'm going to ask you some daft questions now.
Okay, go.
Hold on, I don't want to break my synth. 1 sec. Hold on, where are my notes? Oh, here we are. I've got this folder which has got like the handwritten notes for everybody I've ever seen. God, I've got right back into writing things and using a pen again.
It's amazing how quick you lose that skill.
Oh my God.
You know, like,
What is this thing? What is it?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, how do I hold it?
All right, what's your favourite film?
Favorite film? I would say 2001.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. That and Clockwork Orange. Favourite book?
I think can I just say an author?
Yeah,
I'll let you. I like the William Gibson books.
Yes, they're very interesting, aren't they?
I think they're very.
That's Neuromancer, is it?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, they're all part and parcel of the same kind of thing, but a definite sort of an interesting, an interesting vision. Not always good, not always bad, but always quite interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big I used to be a big science fiction fan, but I've grown a bit. We went through all the dystopian stuff.
Yeah.
Right. I don't need
that really.
Yeah, I mean, it's becoming a bit banal now. It's like everything you see on Netflix or all the new books are all about a dystopian future. We're living in a fucking dystopian future.
No, let's make it better.
Let's make it better, exactly. What's your favourite TV program?
You know what? I'm going to say Doctor Who.
Oh,
Old Doctor Who more than new Doctor Who.
Who's the best Doctor?
Tom Baker.
Yeah, I think so.
Tom Baker is. I mean, I occasionally go back and watch them, and some of the episodes are a bit unwatchable, but in there, they look amazing. You know what I mean? I can remember a lot of them stories vividly from when I was a kid. But yeah, I've always sort of gone back to it. I'm a sci-fi guy. If it's got a spaceship in it,
me
too. As long as it's good.
Me too. What's your epiphanal moment? Some moment that changed you, changed the point of your life.
I think it might have been the time when I realised that I didn't need to have a load of people around to make music.
Yeah, that's really important, and a lesson for the podcast listeners as well, because I know a lot of them make their own music, is to that moment where you realise it's your own world and you can create anything you want.
Yeah.
If we did to do it now, but than it's ever been, to be honest. Yeah, I think that's a good call. That very good. Who's your favourite musical artist?
This one. You know what? It's I'll probably get flack for this. I'm going to say the Beatles, only because I think, apart from making beautiful music, listening to their stuff and unpicking it in mind taught me more about making music than possibly anyone else. If it's for purely listening, I'd say Kraftwerk.
Right.
I fucking love Kraftwerk.
Yeah, me too.
I always go back to them. I will happily, if I'm on a bus journey or something like that, or just about to go to the plane, stick Trans Europe Express on.
Yeah, that's my.
That's probably my favourite one. But
yeah, I started occasionally going back to the really early ones they did, which I had at the time. Even back to Ralph and Florian, and it's quite hippy dippy stuff. But I really like Autobahn. I think it is a really good album. That was the start of when they started getting good for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Which of your own work do you like best?
Used to I like this Major Deranges stuff that I'm doing now. I've got that deep into doing it, and I love doing it for lots of different reasons. I love what I've done on it. I love the technology I've used on it. But probably the most fun I had was I used to have a band called Circus Girls. The critically ignored Circus Girls, we used to call it. So it's like we did 3 albums, never really put them out properly. But, we'd it was like, it was the, it's hard to describe. It's that very special thing of hanging out with two of your best mates making music.
Yeah.
And not giving a fuck about anybody else.
Yeah.
And, you know, if one of you's really pissed and the other two are laughing at them, that's great. You know, just take it.
The same space, right?
Yeah. It was the first thing I did where, musically, where I just felt free to, you know, it doesn't matter, but let's just have a fucking laugh, you know.
Yeah.
Everything before that was sort of, you're always thinking about, oh, it's got to be nailed because, you know, somebody might be buying it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, all of it really. You know, I love doing all the touring thing and just hanging out with around the world and stuff like that. You know, it's fucking hell, what's not to like about it?
Well, I mean, it's not a proper job, is it? I mean, well, I feel I managed to avoid it all this time.
I had years of my mum and dad going, when are you going to get a proper job?
Yeah, I know.
I realised when I was lucky enough to be on top of the pops once, and it was like, as far as they were concerned, it was like,
all right. Yeah.
Right, okay, that was their epiphanal moment, you know?
Yes, of course.
Like, oh, he has got a job. He's on the telly. I digress.
Your favourite of the 7 deadly sins, which is your favourite?
Ooh.
Can I pick one?
My favourite one, avarice.
Your favourite synth?
Oh, synth. I thought it said sin.
Oh, favourite sin. Oh, well, maybe we'll do sin. Avarice. I'm going to do sin and synth from now. I like that. Sin.
I'm going to say the SH101. Okay, because it's probably the thing that I can go near, and within 30 seconds, I've got something really quick, and you know, I like it straight away, kind of thing.
By the way, avarice is a great name for a synth.
Let's do one. Let's make one.
Do you build stuff?
Yeah, I've been known to. I'm a lazy solderer, really. I can solder and I can build, and I can do a certain amount of designing, and I can solder really, but I find that part of it a little bit difficult now because obviously you get older, your eyes start to go.
Yeah.
I find it hard to solder now. Well, yeah, I used to do a lot of building. I built a few synths and stuff in the past.
This there was somebody posted on the internet the other day. They'd found an ARC 2600 in a skip. Yeah. Of a college. Somebody chucked it out.
I bet it's
and he the guy renovated it, and it was like I don't know, he obviously spent months on it, but he said it only cost like 200 or 300 quid to renovate it.
Well, talk about things in skips. Got a great story with I was with Hooky one day.
Yeah.
I was like, do you know Parr Street Studios in Liverpool?
Yes, I do. I worked with him.
Yeah.
And what was his first name again? Somebody Parr. Anyway, I worked at his studio when he had one in London.
So we were pulling up out there to the session. There's a skip outside, so we were having a bit of a refurbing. The first thing I noticed was like this corner of this thing sticking out, and I knew straight away it was a B77 Revox.
Right.
Like, fucking hell, straight out.
Really? In a skip?
I have that. It was in a skip.
Fucking hell.
And now I'm looking in, and there's a load of tape and stuff like that, and I'm like, oh, fuck. So anyway, I gets this out, puts it down on the ground, goes inside. Said, can I take this? He was in the skip outside, and they went, yeah, no problem. Put it in the car. Looks in the skip. First tape I pulled out was an Echo and the Bunnymen tape.
No!
I went back in and went, should this 2-inch tape be in the bin? Basically, they had a young guy there who'd started that day, and they'd just gone, can you tidy that room out? And he's a couple of tapes. He put all sorts in this fucking skip. So this Revox shouldn't have gone in. Well, they said, because basically I'd effectively got their tape store back, because, you know, I'd literally just hear the Revox.
Wow. That's a great story. Amazing. Well, I think we're just about at the end.
That's gone.
I always say it's flown by, but it really has. It's an hour and 22 minutes, and it's just gone like 10 minutes. Thank you so much for doing it. I think it's, you know, people may not recognize your name, but the important thing is that your work is good, and it enables many other people to do their best work. And you are a highly specialized and skilled and creative guy, and those 3 Venn diagram circles intersect in the middle. It says Roger Lyons.
You're making me blush now.
But I've got maximum respect because I know from personal experience how important it is to have people like yourself around, and you're a good energy as well. That's the other thing.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, man. I shall see you soon. And when we get that BBC commission to do around the world in 80 synths or whatever.
He's going to say, we'll think of the name later.
Let's forget the money out of the BBC, babe.
We need to get Simon on the case, Simon Lowry, to get a telescope for a skull.
Oh, he's the man who could make it work, innit? Simon, God almighty.
But again,
He's like fucking Zelig, that kid.
yeah, it's everywhere.
All right, man. I'll see you soon.
Nice one.
Hope to meet you soon. That'd be
Hope
good.
so.
All right, man.
Nice. All the best.
Bye.
Bye.